Greetings and welcome to episode 54 of my Empire Total War Darth mod Great Britain campaign. And before we begin in earnest, my friends, I'd like to wish all of you a very happy new year, my friends. I hope all of you had a wonderful Christmas, and indeed those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a good holiday, a wonderful holiday, my friends. I do apologise for the lack of videos or any sort of communications from myself for the last week or so, but I've taken a complete break from work and indeed from sort of campaigning as well, from recording any videos. Hope you understand, my friends, but I've come back now refreshed, revigorated, and I thought we'd start off here in the Great Britain campaign. We haven't been back in the Great Britain campaign for a long while. We did leave ourselves, or we were left, should I say, because of these sort of the decisions that I chose to make. I've left us in a little bit of a precarious position economically, should we say, but thankfully the council is there once again to help out, and your help has been wonderful, my friends. It really has. So let's first recap, since we haven't been here for quite a while. So we find ourselves now at peace with Poland, but as you can see, we have moved up considerable forces here into the front lines here. As you can see, so of Poland. Poland is by no means here, giving us any respite here whatsoever on the front lines. Although this army here does contain a mixture of some really wonderful units here, but as you can see, look at this here. General Urnuk here already has one of the finest armies we have anywhere in any of our sort of theatres of operation here. What a wonderful army here. So we really have packed out this sort of our sort of, dare I say, our Mediterranean stronghold here with some fabulous troops. As you can see, the absolute creme de la creme of British fighting forces are here. I mean, look at this here. General Stefan here has a wonderful army as well. So as you can see, we have put together what was going to be a strike group against the Poles. Now this army group here, as you can see, these three very, particularly this army here is a veteran of many a fight. As you can see here, very highly sought after veteran army here, and it has been put forward here to spearhead what was going to be quite a large attack. With the initial foray was going to move us towards Belgrade, or we were going to swing this army group and sort of move westward here and try and crush these sort of armies here, these Polish armies here, against the Adriatic Sea. So in other words, we would sort of push against them. We would have General Mendoza's army down here as sort of the anvil, and these would be the hammer that would sort of push and thus use the Adriatic as sort of that backstop here, so they would have nowhere to run. But of course, you can see they've brought a significant amount of troops here. If I'm not mistaken, is that winged hussars? Indeed, sir. Now we have a number of council members have said, well, you have to be very wary of the winged hussars, even bringing puckle guns to sort of counter the effects of these. These are some of the, if not the finest heavy cavalry in any army anywhere in the world. I kid you not, my friends. They really are a fabulous heavy cavalry. They really are. And you can see they've brought a considerable number of troops here to this front line here, particularly here. We've only got General Mendoza's army here to sort of hold back here. This mountain range here would stop any quick reinforcements. As you can see here, we'll be able to wrap around quite quickly, striking through this gap here. But General Mendoza would have to hold off a considerable considered attack here, and although we'd be able to reinforce quite considerably, probably crushing Podgorica here, we could probably take this town without any trouble, but it would leave this sort of open here. The way into Romalia here, and then indeed into Greece, would be way open here. We've thankfully still got some wonderful garrison forces here, and the reason we've tied down so many of these forces here is we don't have the security of being able to sort of build and recruit vast sums of troops. If we lose any one of these triumvirate here of regions, we are going to be in severe trouble. We're already in a lot of trouble. We cannot sugarcoat it. We cannot put on rose-tinted glasses and think that everything is fine. It isn't, my friends. We have to face up to the facts that we are at the moment in a little bit of a dilemma. Now, something we can get out of, and the council has actually given us a way to get out of this problem. As you can see, we do have Istanbul here, which is garrisoned already, specifically garrisoned by the request of the council. That we have 8-inch mortars in here, a lot of line infantry, and indeed the blunderbuss shotgunners, so that they can sort of fire down upon from the walls. As you can see, it is at full strength. This is improved settlement fortification. So we have the maximum settlement fortification around Istanbul. It really is one of our main hubs here, as you can see. 13,709 here. We've actually brought the resistance of foreign occupation down to almost 0 here, so that's absolutely fantastic. But as you can see by the numbers here, our growth is absolutely falling through the floor. It is appalling at the moment, and the reason for that is this. We're going to be 3,214 in the red, and that is because we are at peace with not only Poland, and also we are also at peace with the Mughal Empire, who are two of our main opponents here, and we were able to sort of really take their trade. And I was baffled at why we've lost so much. What is it that has put us into the red? And I was completely baffled as to the reason why. But once again, the council has come up with the reason why we have lost so much, and it's here. Remember, we were at war with Poland, Russia, and the Mughal Empire. Three of the mightiest empires in this entire campaign. They are the three titans of this campaign. There's France as well, but we weren't at war with France. By that I mean the three main our arch enemies were those three main, and they are huge. They are absolutely huge in terms of what they're able to produce. Their economic power, their military power, indeed, is vast. And I was just rattling my brains to try and figure out where we got that money from to be able to. Because at one point we were earning 60,000 gold per turn, and of course I was completely dumbfounded to where we were making that money until the council said, Mala, you were raiding one of the trade lines deep in the East Atlantic Ocean, all the way down here, and this is the fleet that was bringing in that money. I mean, look at the fleet anyway. I mean, it's got HMS Victory in it. So I mean, needless to say, it is absolutely the creme de la creme here, or one of the creme de la cremes of our fleets here. It really is absolutely the apogee of what we are able to put into the field here. But it was raiding the Mughals, as you can see, and the Russians, who were bringing in a combined gold tally here of over 120, probably even 130, maybe pushing 140,000 gold between them. As you can see, if you're raiding your enemy lines and they're bringing in that much gold, you're going to be taking a huge cut of that. Percentage of that is going into your coffers because you're raiding it, and that's where our money came from. And because we then had peace with them, we then lost that income. So, as I was saying to the council, how do we get through this? Because you can see our tax at the moment is up through the roof, our tax rates, and it really is choking off all of our sort of growth. We've got huge problems here in terms of what we're going to see here, probably a rebellion sooner rather than later. So we have to do something about that. There were two ways we could do that. The first was the council saying to try and improve and reach out to additional nations to try and get as much sort of trade as we can, but we've got all the trade we can get here. As you can see, we are trading with every single major nation here, and we are trading with New Spain, who are indifferent with us at the moment, but that's absolutely fine. But we can't get, our ports are full, we're trading with everyone we possibly can. Growth has slowed because we've pretty much upgraded everything we can here. We've got the sort of steam engine here, the steam engine factory, which is going to bring in a certain amount of wealth to us as well. But we've done everything we can. The only way we can do this is to declare war again upon Russia. That's the only way we can do it. Now, as you can see here, Russia is allies with France and the Mughal Empire. Now, the problem here is twofold. If France declares war upon us at the same time as Russia, then that's going to put us in a real sticky position, because, as you know, Britain is, the direct opposite here of France. It is literally within a stone's throw of France, so that's our first problem. The Mughal Empire, not so much because of the distances involved, so not really going to bother us that much in terms of what we have to deal with in the immediate aftermath of declaring war on Russia. Now, maybe you say, man, I don't declare war on Russia, but this campaign will stagnate if we don't make a move and we don't actually show a little bit of fighting spirit here. This campaign will stagnate. As you can see, we're not going to break the poles down here. Although we have a significant amount of our firepower, military assets down here, we're very close to our sort of our bridgeheads here. We're very close to our supply lines. We can fall back upon our supply lines, our supply dumps. If the Poles were to sort of build up any significant forces behind here, in the Balkans, we would be in trouble. But the sheer scale here of the Russian Empire leads it to be not able to defend everywhere at once with a significant amount of forces. And because we have this foothold here in St. Petersburg, which is pretty much sealed off here. We have this Russian force here, but to counter that, we would move this force here to directly oppose this force here. So we would, you know, if any Russian army wanted to break into St. Petersburg, it would be a fight that would cost them dear. But we have this army group here. Now this army, look, I mean, look at this. This is enough to make you weep with joy. I mean, look at the sheer magnitude here. We've got General Roberts, we have General Zinau, and we also have no general here at all. So this army is actually open for a council member to take. As you can see, it is packed to the rafters here with Swiss grenadiers. We've got Swiss line infantry, Swiss guards. This is effectively the Swiss army here, and it's a highly elite army. Now their main task, their main goal, is to strike against Moscow. Now if we were to take Moscow, now at the moment they're exempt from tax, but the Moscow income will be huge. Their growth is staggering, and you can see war weariness has really taken its toll on the populace here, to the point where it almost could turn it into the brink of war here, where you'd have a rebellion. Food shortages are huge. They've had to go exempt tax, otherwise they would lose control of Moscow. That is the beating heart of the Russian Empire. No matter how large their empire stretches out here, it stretches all the way down to Persia, into Baluchistan here, and it even moves into Palestine here, Jerusalem. Moscow is the key centre here. Look, all the roads, like a spider's web, filter out into the interior and exteriors of the Russian Empire. This army group here, its specific task, its main goal, is to bring Moscow under British control. Now we can do that now, because we know what is here. We've got a spy. Where is our spy? The spy is... How come you never... there, beg your pardon. There's the spy, my friends. There is our spy. Now we sent the spy on specific mission to find out what was in here, and now we know there is absolutely nothing around here that can withstand this firepower of this army group. It is going to simply batter its way in here, but we have to do this carefully. We mustn't overreach ourselves here. So our first task, when we declare war upon Russia, is to strike immediately for Moscow. That is our key goal here. If we take Moscow, it is going to not only free us up militarily, but economically it's going to be a huge boon for us. But we also have a lot of dangers involved in this. Now Sweden, of course, is an ally of ours. Now if Sweden doesn't join us in the war with and against Russia, then we are going to cease all financial aid. At the moment, the council has been saying, advising that we give, you know, 5,000, 10,000 gold to the Swedes here. We're not able to do that at the moment, but when we declare war, we're going to see a huge jump in our income, because we're going to raid that trade line down in East Atlantic again. We are not, if they don't take sides with us, we're not going to give them any more financial aid. What they have, they'll have to sort themselves out. It's as simple as that. We are not going to prop up their government any longer. Of course, if France declares war upon us, then we'll have to deal with that ourselves. Our fleet here is excellent. Now, port security also came up. I know that many of the council are a little bit perturbed, shall we say, that we don't have the proper port security. Dragoons, I think we'll keep in here. Do we have... I think we will therefore move in these light dragoons into Greenwich, because I can absolutely guarantee you that the Russians will move a fleet in here to try and attack our ports, and Greenwich isn't being defended by this, but we've made sure our port security is up to par. And also down here, as you might be able to see here, look at this, Jerusalem and Damascus. Now personally, as you can see, Jerusalem is bringing 2,547 here. Town wealth is quite exceptional, port not so much, but it's got these defences. If we were to leave Damascus, two things are going to happen. There's going to be a rebellion, the rebels will take Damascus, but that's not a problem, because Jerusalem is by far the much richer region. 2,157, here it's 2,547, but the ability to defend this city is much improved here because of what it effectively has here. We've got a port already. We've got the port here as well in Syria, so we'd lose this port and this here. But we could easily conquer and crush a sort of rebel army. We could leave a token force here, because we've got France here in Egypt. So we could leave a token force here of, shall we say, militia and colonial militia, and then we can sort of move these gentlemen then across here, attack this. We can move this army then back in Damascus. We would conquer and capture two of the main regions in the entirety. The only thing is that it was Baghdad. And that's the only... I mean, they do have a formidable army here in Baghdad, but it's mainly made up of... Got a lot of guns here, but colonial line infantry, a lot of militia, one cuirassiers here. But if we do this, we can actually strike a lot of blows against the Russians. They do have this fleet here. As you can see, this is their main battle fleet. Now we could pin this fleet off here. This force here is substantial. What do we have here? We're just going to have a quick recce here of what's happening in here. Just to see what's going on. We need to reconnoiter. Okay, they have that. They have this fleet here as well. Oh, that is a powerful fleet. So, if we do have our own very powerful fleet down here as well, as you can see here. This is, of course, we've got the 4th rate here, but again, look at the Admiral here. I mean, he is exemplary, sir. -4 upkeep. Oh, it's just -1 morale, but even here, +2 to command, +1 to command, +1 to command frigates, and +2 to command in sea battles. So, I mean, he really is an absolute one. He's a genius at sea. So now we know what the Russians have here in the Black Sea. They've got 2 powerful fleets, not at full strength, but still, we still need to be wary of what we're doing here. So we've reconnoitred there. Now, one of these fleets I can absolutely guarantee would be sent towards Britain. We've cleared the Baltic Sea of any Russian forces here. I think, my friends, we are going to take that plunge. We need the income. We need the income here. We just simply, otherwise we're going to be bankrupt and we're going to start losing troops and this campaign will stagnate. We have to fight back. We have to take this plunge here. It's not what we want, but it's something we've just got to do. So, I know that many of you say, "Man, don't attack Russia, attack Poland or something." But Russia is absolutely ripe for the picking. If we can take Moscow, we will rip the heart out of them. Also, when we take Moscow, they will see a drop in income. Because, of course, most of the income is coming from Moscow. It's flowing down into the Crimea here. What they have, 126,000 here, that's going to drop significantly because we've taken the major sort of economic hub here from, or at least besieged it for a while, and eventually take it. That'll rip a huge amount of their income away from them, and therefore our raiding will be lesser. But we have to do this, and with that in mind, my friends, let's start the ball rolling. Let's get this. We'll use the Cornwall. Actually, we'll use the aptly named Conqueror to do this for us. Let's attack Helsingfors here. Declare war. I wonder who will join. If Sweden doesn't aid us here, then they shall pay the price. Yes, they're not going to. That's fine. No more aid for them at all. And now we can at last begin. We're going to immediately jump across from Damascus here. We're going to besiege Jerusalem.
Commence siege.
They're going to refuse that, of course they are.
The swine rot in the sty.
Exactly, sir. And we're going to move these forces here towards... We won't upgrade this port, even though we might.
Yes.
We must remember to also... We'll just move down to here. We'll try and keep these army groups, well, this force as well, within space of each other at least, but they're not going to quite reach here to support each other. But still, there's nothing here that can do us any great harm. What we will do is start moving down towards Kiev here, which will be our next target. We need to see what the Russians have down here. We'll just move into the forest here to gain that intelligence. Now, we've hit the port here. They've got also got a port here as well, but I believe that Pamu, is it Paranu? I think, is that Paranu or Pamu? I do beg your pardon my pronunciations. I've probably absolutely butchered that name. I do apologise, my friends, if I have. In Riga. Now we must, above all else here, raid this trade line again. Oh, look at that, sir. And we've absolutely taken a huge slice here of this trade here. Oh, look at that. 44,139. But we also must remember that we have here... So we're going to reduce these less, so we bring everything under control. It's going to reduce what we're bringing in. Yes, 29,000 here, but still, we've brought things under control. We see growth now picking back up again. We will also see the populace looking a lot happier here. Nobility, we could drop that probably down a little bit further, but at the moment that's fine. We need to keep it relatively high. We've got 30,000 coming in now next turn. I think we need to probably increase our fleets here. I know that one thing we do need to do is to rebuild this fleet here in the Baltic. It's looking a little bit worse for wear. Let's do that. Now, I believe we've done all we can here. No one else has moved against us just yet, but we've moved against Jerusalem here. If we can take this... Actually, that's not too bad. If we can hold Damascus at the same time, what a coup de main that would be here. It really would. We've got that. That's been absolutely battered, because remember, we had an army group of Russian forces here. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Russia either using this fleet here. Excuse my friends. They've got a lot of second-rate ship of the lines here in this port here in Izmir. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Russians moving, trying to take Istanbul. But you can see we've got no trade here. If they want to hit any of these ports, it'll do no good. We've got no trade at all coming out of here. And in fact, there's absolutely been crushed in here. But we can't go up against these three fleets. They've got three fleet, even though they've taken a little bit of a battering here. They're still exceptional forces. I think we've done all win. Sweden can now deal with its own problems. We are not going to be supporting them at all. I think we've done all we can here at the moment. We could, there's no trade lines along here we could raid, because we have effectively cut off the main supply line that was, St. Petersburg was another sort of economic hub for the Russians. We've removed that from them. And we're raiding one of their main lines down there as well. So Moscow is our real key here to this. It really is. And the Mughals didn't join either, which is interesting to say the least. Unfriendly at Poland now. Indifferent here. Mughals are still friendly, which is good to see. Poland possibly unfriendly, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for us. Indifferent now, the French. But still. Right. Let's end the turn, my friends. And actually, let's... Got 29,000 coming in. We've got to be careful. Look at that jump to 53,000. That was 2,700 previously. So that's at least a, what's that, a 49,000, well, 50,000 gold jump just from reading that line there. What a joy to see that is. Right, let's end the turn here, my friends. And actually, how's our research doing here? We've got, for some reason, we've got explosive rockets here, which we don't really need. I'd much rather go for the rifled cannons. What I think we're going to do, we'll turn that. We don't need, explosive rockets are good, but we don't really need them that much. Abolition of slavery is going to take a while, but we will then have shrapnel shot and percussion shells. Let's get everything absolutely straight, lined up straight here, so that we can know where we're coming from. Everything here is fully upgraded in Britain and Ireland, Scotland indeed. Yep, we've got everything at maximum capacity here. Let's end the turn. Let's see what happens. Oh, we really have made that move here, and we just got to be very cautious here. We've got to keep an eye on the Poles. Keep an eye on France. Intriguing. As long as Poland stays out of the way here, we can effectively hold... wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. Why are you suddenly moving there? And this movement of Polish forces is disconcerting to say the least. It looks like we're going to see a huge influx here of Polish naval forces moving back and forth, which could cause a few problems to us. But again, you have to find that equilibrium, a delicate balance. We might start to improve our forces in Britain, in Portsmouth. We might look to build another force. Now then, that is intriguing. They're obviously going to start...
Withdraw! Withdraw!
They're obviously going to start running parallel to us, shadowing us as it were as we move along here. I can absolutely guarantee you they're going to be heading towards Istanbul. Absolutely guarantee it. But if Russia wants a fight, then we'll oblige. We shall oblige. But we must maintain a laser-like focus here, with Moscow being the key prize here in this particular campaign. Excellent shrapnel shot. What is the obsession here with explosive? We need to get our naval forces up to full here. I think we'll go for +2 morale in battle. For Cambridge. 9 turns. How long will that take? 12 turns. Actually, it's probably better if we actually get percussion shells. Turns. Yeah, let's do that. We'll use Oxford as our main naval research facility. Excellent. Tenured professorship. Excellent. And now we've got our professor. Ah, that is a shame. Looks like we've lost one of our gentlemen here. Now that port there could be, look at that, 29,000. We've got 29,000 coming in here as well. Now if we invest in this here, and we've held on to this actually, much better than I thought actually. Do we invest in this? I think we'd invest in the commercial basin here. Somalia here is fully upgraded, so again we're seeing our income already, but I mean look at the difference, disparity between tax income and army upkeep. It's vast, sir. But what happens though if we can take Russia, if we can deal with Russia, then to be honest with you, we can then sort of balance out our economy back so that we have some sort of internal economic balance there. Let's strike immediately here for Moscow.
Rats in a cage.
Rats in a cage, sir.
Target under siege, sir.
Oh, this is a joy to see.
Forward! Up! At the ready.
Now that is a very powerful army group here.
Commence siege.
Now, so always keep trying to look at this.
They hide behind women's skirts.
What we are going to do is we're going to move this army here back to St. Petersburg. Just to here, so behind St. Petersburg, and we're going to reinforce this site. Actually, this naval fleet here can now be fully replenished. 4,000 worth every penny. I think we're going to put some artillery in behind this army here to add that extra firepower. But again, we're going to balance it out. We're not going to go absolutely all in here. I think we'll also get one first-rate ship of the line here. And we're also going to start putting together another fleet here around Britain. I've just got a sneaking suspicion that we're going to be seeing additional Russian forces moving into the area here. What we will do is... Oh, Royal George. I think we'll have HMS Britannia. This will be our flagship. So we'll just put that in there like that, and then we're going to leave it. We're going to start building, look at that, 6,915. That's already dropped to 6,915 there. Wow, that is a huge drop. We're going to start trying to build up a little bit of a bank for ourselves here. We don't overstretch ourselves. We can always adjust our tax rate if needs be, but we want to see growth. Growth is going to be important here. As you can see, the growth has started again. So that's good to see. We're going to start seeing growth, and our income will suddenly move upwards here, but looks like Syria is going to give us probably the most problems here. We could invest. But no, we've got to maintain our discipline here. 3 more turns of this tries to... Well, we've opened up this here. We're going to probably see a number of problems emerging here, but what we've just done. But we're going to hold forth. I know the council's probably asking for us to possibly move some of these forces out from this sort of enclave here. Move it against Russian forces, but Maybe move against Ankara, possibly against Ankara. Remember, we've got this fleet here, but we could even move against Ankara with some of these, maybe drawing off some of these forces to attack Ankara, but we don't know what's here. That's the problem. We don't know what's in Ankara, and also we've got a large number of Russian forces still moving through Anatolia and Ankara here, so we've got to be careful what we're doing. But again, our main focus is going to be on Moscow. I think we've done everything else we can do here. If we can get Palestine under our control as well, what a boon that would be, sir. Right, Sweden can pretty much deal with its own problems. I've actually, can they repair that? I was hoping they repair that at least at some point in the future, but we're not going to worry about that. They can afford to put Army Staff College into production, so I think they can afford to look after themselves now. Right, let's end the turn again, my friends. Let's just see what, let's have a look, quick look here. Different and friendly, -44. Local Empire is still friendly with us, which is unusual. Let's end the turn. Now the spy's moving towards Kiev. France obviously raiding against the Poles. There's still a hostility between them, which is good to see. But why are they moving forces towards that port there? That is disconcerting, to say the least. We do have peace with Spain, which is quite a large empire at the moment. And they're able to produce ships at will there, which is, again, something we have to keep an eye on. But we don't have any trade ports there that can do any harm. So if they try to raid any of our ports, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. We do really have a fleet team which would pretty much deal with anything that's thrown its way, but we still have to be very careful what we're doing. Poland really is flexing its muscles here. Flexing its military might. That's something we must be wary of. And Russia does it. Oh my goodness me, they got an army group there that would crush us within seconds unless they try moving forces through Chechnya, through Georgia, to try and move towards Moscow. That's probably what they're trying to do, is move forces up. We've got to hold St. Petersburg because that really is our sort of foothold within the region, a place where we can fall back upon. Sweden is also raiding Poland as well, which is again good to see. Okay, relatively quiet. +1 to happiness ability, -2, not good. +1 to mobility. Ah, excellent. In Syria, we could upgrade to. That's a lot of money there, sir. Oh, look at that, it's gone up to 10,000 there because of these. Now we could invest in that, but I don't really want to invest in that just yet. We need to see what's going to happen here with Jerusalem. Because that's a lot to invest here, 6,300. If we just suddenly then lose it because the Russians have attacked us. So you can see they've got quite a force here. They can move against us here, so we are really... we're taking a gamble here. But that gamble might pay off if we can just dislodge them from here from Jerusalem. That would be a wonder, sir. But again, we're holding these forces in place. Although I would like to pull 2 of these forces away from here and strike against Ankara here. If we could take Ankara as well at the same time. I wonder what they've got in Ankara. I wonder if we can send a ship around here to see what they've got in Ankara. Of course.
Set sail. Ready and waiting.
There's an army here.
Orders, Captain.
More than an army. Ankara is completely sealed off.
Officer on deck. All away.
Okay, so Ankara is not looking like we can send one army into this. That would require at least an army group to deal with that. They've got a lot of artillery at their disposal as well, so that would be a considerable push against with us, and they've got a lot of forces in this region here. They're even sending forces up from Armenia, Georgia and Chechnya here, I believe, to move through the Don here. So we're quickly going to check what they've got here in Kiev. Okay, that's a considerable amount of forces. Now we're going to move down to Cherkassk here at the Don. But that is not formidable forces, but it's enough to give us pause for thought. But we do want to move down to Cherkassk. We want to see what's moving through the bridges here from Tataria and through Cherkassk. They might be heading towards Moscow to try and relieve it. 4 more turns here, 4 more years, should I say, before it surrenders.
Yes.
Now, how long is it going to take here for these? He's almost done. 9,948 here. We'll wait for the ships to be built, and then we shall move.
Aye, sir. Ship's orders received. Under sail. Orders. Aye, sir.
Gotta make sure they can't use that naval hospital here at least. Okay, I think we can end the turn here. Our next battle is probably going to be here in Jerusalem. Unless they send forces here, but it doesn't look like they're up for the fight. In mind, that's a huge distance to move. Let's end the turn here, my friends. No, gentlemen, just no. They're not. We're going to hold here. We're going to hold here.
Siege, sir.
France again, just loitering and trying to steal technology. Always a good plan. Poland was. Why has Poland got those? Oh, look at that. They're being chased down now, Sweden, by Polish forces. My goodness me, they're able to produce ships at will here. That is a powerful asset to have. I am a little bit disconcerted here about the number of forces the Poles are putting into the oceans. I'm going to have to keep a close eye on these Polish fleets. Now if they just leave everything as it is and, you know, keep things nice and quiet, we don't have a problem with them. I think they're moving forces through the Cherkassk there, through the Don.
Reverse course.
There it is. There it is. They are moving though. Well, I'll be damned. Look at that. They've struck here and taken it. So Syria, that's why we didn't upgrade that. Would resolve it. We knew that they would just come along and take that. That's absolutely fine. But will they now try and lift the siege here of Jerusalem? We could probably take Jerusalem and then move and take Damascus eventually as well. That's fine. If we've taken Damascus, that's absolutely fine there. These are strong forces moving through Karelia here. They're quite clearly gearing up for an attack here against St. Petersburg. We must hold. We must hold St. Petersburg. Crucial, crucial stronghold. A bridgehead we have here in Russian territory. Yes, here they come. We're going to prepare this army. We got another army in reserve here. We're going to prepare them for that, because if these come down, that's going to be a brutal fight. And we're going to need those reinforcements. Petrovskaya here. Have they just divided that? They just divided that army up there. What are you going to do, Russia? What is your intention set? Good grief, they're sending a lot of forces down here. That is a lot of forces. We just got to maintain our focus here. We can't lose sight of what our goal is. Yes, they're going to try and relieve Moscow. Absolutely guaranteed. Come on, Russia, make your move, sir. They're going to try and hit the Moscow.
Prepare for borders.
There it is. They are moving now. Additional forces appear. Not the finest of fleets, but we probably could deal with this fleet ourselves here.
The fleet is lost.
They lost one as well, which is excellent to see.
Disaster.
Excuse me, my friends. They moved it from this isthmus here, or ismu, or isthmus down by here. They've moved it from this port here, and they're raiding our trade lines as well there. So we are going to lose some additional trade there. That's absolutely fine, but... Oh, good grief, that's a lot there, sir. One more turn, surrender. Yes. 983, that is sailing close to the wind, shall we say. Ooh. We know that we lost Syria. Excellent. Excellent. They're going to send trying forces down here to try and relieve Moscow. I'm going to put these forces into here. Just to guard St. Petersburg. We can't lose St. Petersburg. That is one of our key... one of our key locations. But if we can just take 4 of these armies, get down here. We could assault the city, but it would cost us dear. Look at that income, 16,000 there.
How may I be of service?
We need to know what's happening down here.
Seeing. I can't go there. Unseen. I can't do that. An impossible mission, sir.
Okay, we're still holding here. Almost done. If they strike out against us, though, we are going to be right up against it here. But we'll deal with that because we've got mostly cavalry here. That could be dealt with.
Settlement under siege.
This is not insurmountable odds. Most of these are indeed just 8-inch mortars. So a number of these are 8-inch mortars. We do have this fleet here, which has shown itself. But it won't move against this fleet here, that I can assure you. We've got 22,000 here. I wonder if we could just adjust the tax levels here. What would this do here? Oh, it's going to bring Britain into disrepute, as it were. But if we do that, will that affect growth? Yes. We do need growth. Well, the nobility spending their money is one of the key factors of growth here. So we need that growth to increase. Now, I think tax income has gone up. But that's dropped down because they're trading one of our trade lines. As you can see here, the Mughal Empire trade line here is being hit pretty hard by the Russians. Excuse me. Look at that, sir. Only 49% is actually going up, which is good to see. We've got some wonderful opposition here. Absolutely fantastic. The gentlemen, not so much. Kenneth Chapman, Mark Younger, Virgil Collingwood, Edward Bridgman, not very good at all, but Gordon Amherst definitely does have some zeal about him. Now, where was that ship we had then? There it is. We don't want to leave these out in the open. I think we'll put this gentleman in here. Brand new admiral there for the fleet. 22,000 we have. Dropped that to 9,983. That's only because the Russians have been raiding our trade lines, but still. We've just got to maintain our focus here. Let's end the turn here. Let's see what happens. Very close to Moscow being potentially ours, even if they move forces in to try and help relieve that there. Spain. Poland. Again, moving huge amount of forces in here. That's a lot of naval firepower. What will Russia do? Will they sally forth from Jerusalem? Yeah, they're gonna try and lift that siege of Moscow. I dare you, sir. Yes, they've left that trade line alone. Oh, there it is. This is what we need. We need Jerusalem so we can turn our ire on Damascus. But we need to take this. We need to take this. They don't have a full strength either, which is good to see. Let's take this fight, my friends. The battle for Jerusalem. Out of the brutish campaign here, my friends. But one that we shall not back away from in any form. Because at one point we were almost... The British Empire was almost snuffed out from existence, but with the Council's advice and support, we've managed to put ourselves in a position where we might be able to strike a real dagger blow at the heart of the Russian Empire. It's a clear day here. Looks like it's going to be probably the evening. And it gives us good line of fire here, good line of sight into the fort. That's a fully upgraded fort as well. I'd expect no less from the Empire of the Russians. Oh. Look at that. A perfect position with which to put our artillery. Absolutely perfect. And then use this to sort of break up their advances. That's a wonder, sir. First thing we're going to do is bring the artillery on top of this ridge here. Perfect. And actually, I think we'll just move these into their appropriate, so we can have that correlation of fire where it needs to be. I mean, look at that, sir. That is an absolute wonder. Now, we'll put our sort of forces at the base of this here to protect our artillery. We'll bring the general here. Once again, on overwatch, on overview here. But we've got a very good defensive position here. Our cavalry, we will deal with our cavalry momentarily, but let's put our cavalry for the meantime over here, just until we get everything sorted. Now let's put the guards, at least one. I think we'll put the 38th Guard Regiment here. I know that we've got this in between us here, but it'll still prove an effective defense. Even if things come this way and this way, they'll still be able to move appropriately here. I think we might even put our own strike force of guards and foot guards, and probably one of our regiments. So I think we'll have the 79th Regiment here on our right. Angled slightly so we're able to sort of hit this pass here. We have the 102nd here on the left. Oh, that's an absolute wonder, sir. 93rd Regiment, I think we'll just stretch to here. Again, we can't have anything moving outflanking us here. They've got to come through here if they make it through here. Again, trench, and then we shall have the 103rd here on our extreme left. Look at that. Now we've got 4 regiments here. We don't need 4 regiments, but we'd like to have the guards. I think we'll pull the guards back up to here if we possibly can. Maybe hidden. Can we have them hidden at some point along this? Yes, we can indeed, sir. We definitely want the... Oh, look at that. The foot guards here. Now, will they be hidden behind them? Yes, they will, sir. I mean, look at that. 39th Foot Guards, look at that. What a wonder, sir. And the 40th Foot.
Irregulars.
92nd Regiment. Here.
Yes, sir. Right away.
Can we get them
Yes, sir.
hidden? We can indeed, look at that. 3 regiments here we're going to use to sort of outflank the enemy. Pull these into reserve. We need to keep as many forces fresh as we possibly can here, because we've got still the Syrian garrison to deal with.
Yes, sir.
Just in case, just in case.
Right away.
Remember, luck favours the prepared mind. I think what we'll do is we'll just put these... We'll have the 40th and 44th Regiment of Cuirassiers up here on the left. We'll also have Horse Guards Cuirassiers and Royal Cuirassier Guards on the right. We'll just sit here and wait for them to make their move against us here, but I think we're ready to move here. Let's end deployment. Look at that. They won't even know what's here until it's too late. What do we have here? Will the mortars move out? Let's speed things up here. If the mortars move out, yes they are. To hold our nerve here. Of course we hold the road here, this where the road leads up here into Jerusalem itself. Steady, gentlemen, steady now. Oh, what a shot, sir. My compliments to the chef. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is a wonder to see, sir. And they're quite clearly going to be moving against us here. With 8-inch mortars, we'll wait here. Shrapnel shot. Fire. Oh my goodness me. Oh, that is an absolute joy to see. They've gone, they've broken, they've had enough. Shattered, broken. Come on, let's break them now, break them. Let's move out, lads. Oh, what are you doing? What a shot, sir. We've got them, lads, we've got them. Oh, this is an absolute joy, sir. Are you? What the blazes are you up to? This cavalry's been an absolute joy, sir. Into the rear, lads. Into the rear. Keep broken. Oh, look at that. That's absolutely shattered. That is just a miraculous shot. Don't give them an inch, lads. Yes, we did it, my friends. Only 363 losses. Statistics. 127 killed. Deployed, we lost. Christ, we lost 78 there. That's a big loss there. Not too many kills. 127 by line infantry guards. Wonderful, sir. Is it ours? I knew it. Okay, we've got a bit of a raid there. So, oh, Palestine has been captured. That's an absolute wonder. So now we're behind the walls here. We've got this force now. So we're clearly going to try and take that. What's that? The 5266 has grown quite nicely here. Let's upgrade these to make sure we've got all facilities available to us. And also, let's bring this up to full strength. That's excellent to see. So the Russians recaptured that, but they've left it open. If we defeat this army, it's effectively left Syria to our forces here. Plus one ability. That's excellent to see. We've lost that there, but Limassol, but still. And what forces are moving down here? Now they're quite clearly going to move towards and probably try and lift the siege of Moscow. But to be honest with you, it's not going to do them any good. We do have that's not a pretty powerful force as such, but we didn't know what's heading down towards us. Let's have a look.
The night is my friend. Moving.
We don't have many forces in this area at all. But we've got Jerusalem. That's an absolute joy, sir. Let's go 2267. That's going to give us... That's the boost we've needed there. 58,000 there now. I think we've done all we can do, to be honest with you, my friends, here at the moment. I think we'll just get one more heavy first rate. I'll leave us with that there, but I think we're going to end this episode here, my friends. We're on the brink here of possibly bringing Moscow under our control here. This is definitely something we want. If we can get Moscow, what a coup de main that would be, and we can hold it then. No, though we're probably raided here, we can probably send an army to clear up these forces here. But ultimately we need to take Kiev probably as well at some point. But that will be something we can do later, but our main priority is Moscow. But my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please, as always my friends, please keep your comments coming down below. They've been absolutely fantastic, and your support has been absolutely wonderful, my friends. It really, really has. But I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday and a very good new year. I really do wish that, my friends. As you should probably tell, someone just woke up, realised I'm recording, so we can hear a few noises in the background there. But anyway, my friends, we've taken Jerusalem. We've got Moscow under siege. Our lines are holding here. St. Petersburg is under our control, and we're building up our fleets. But until next time, my friends, bye for now.